That's going to be fun.
We are live, I think.
And you guys can come to the water slide if you want earlier in the day.
Did you guys find the hotel that you're gonna?
No, but I'll look.
Yeah. No. I get the names of the places. Well, I'd like to. Well, anyways, start the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
The hardest part is starting the show. I've thought about it a lot, and I can tell why Kirk just wants to walk in, sit down, and start the show, because almost everything else feels scripted and very thought out to the point that didn't need to be. So, anyways,
yeah,
that's my thought on starting.
So you got that stuff figured out now, where you can not have your screens up and play clips and stuff.
I'm getting a little bit better at it.
Okay.
I know where to find the stuff, and we're gonna do the rundown first, or the week wrap up, I should call it. Normally we would probably go right into the book, but because of how just huge this week was as far as in the miniverse and all these different big things, one of these things would have probably carried them the whole week. And by the end of the week we had 3 or 4 really big ones. And to show you how big this week was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, first of all, that guy Richard is a killer, Dave. I mean, he's won both tournaments now. I don't know what to say about the guy anymore, but I think about him all the time now. I am obsessed with this tournament. Congratulations to Ryan Minahan, who finished third in the money.
Unbelievable.
Lo Minahan, who I predicted would not have finished in them.
I forget.
Right. See, I mean, that's the week really started with the mini golf thing, and they did come back around on it this week, which was an impressive week to say the least. And my big thing that
he had a lot of I was just thinking about it. He had at least 4 or 5 Barstool personalities call in.
Okay, well, see, this gets right to the heart of today's show, which was, why is nobody playing along? I mean, he's obviously being the bad guy for everybody, and
because I think maybe they don't know how to read him. We're experts in understanding what he's doing. People that don't listen every day, like Whitney Riggs, probably they all understand, and even Portnoy to an extent.
Yeah, today he didn't seem like he was getting it at all, and it's I don't know what else Kirk has to do to get
Portnoy, though, if you've been following him at all, is sort of checked out himself.
Is it just a summer thing? He's down in
he's in the Hamptons, and
just
lately I've noticed he's more into vacationing than he does his shit for the company, but he's not going out above and beyond. He's gonna have a good time with his life.
I would too if I was his age and had that type of money, which I don't even know about. He's got 100 million, 200 million.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Or at least in future earnings, and he's probably got some in the bank. A decent salary.
The last clip I played, actually, he brought up his brother, Brian. That's not so. He has another brother that is dead to him now. That's not the same one, right? Obviously.
No, Adam.
So
Adam's the one in Oregon. He was on. He would come on the shows sort of at the beginning of the pandemic more.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was more involved. They had some type of falling out.
I never on the OG shows. I remember.
I saw some tweets somewhere today talking about trying to start up some of the OG shows, or the OG show, I think.
With Steve from Providence?
I think so. That's what I thought I saw. That would be interesting.
Would. I like all those guys.
Yeah, I do too. So let's see. Oh, the Dave Balding thing. I didn't think there was much to it, but Kirk seems to keeps it going.
Well, that's his thing. That's the thing. If Dave just let it go, this is going to be one thing that Kirk always goes back to, sort of like the mother thing for Mike. If you think about it, psychologically, that's what Kirk does. He looks for those he tries out different things that might get him going.
Absolutely does.
Yeah, and and even like he encourages other people, but in a way, it seems like he's not encouraging other people to rib him about certain things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the He Too stuff.
And there's so many of these things that could actually have might have a lot more legs, especially as I think that the momentum is picking up for the show again and for the network and everything else. I mean,
I only worry that Kirk is going to like hit that wall sometimes that he'll hit. Like he's going like 100 miles an hour and you can't sustain the level right now.
So that brings up a good point. I don't think he's done anything wrong like this week at all. Like he's manic. He sounds manic. I said something to you about that earlier in the week. Definitely. But I don't think he has anything to apologize for yet, other than maybe hiring Justin back. I was saving the Justin stuff because I think I can do 4 or 5 hours on it. That I was looking through my.
You have a sort of connection to it a little bit because you were living it for a while with your nephew. Does your nephew remind you of Justin?
Bingo. So without a doubt, I realized. So that's what I was about to say is. So I'm flipping through my little notebooks. I have one.
Are we on YouTube?
I think so. I have no.
I'll follow the chat.
Yeah, there's only one person I saw hit the post was in there at one point.
Is it Boomer Wells, our friend?
No, I don't know if I don't know that aspect of it. That's something I probably actually need to talk to Hit the Post about is how to post it right. I did put something funny in there at least. I thought.
Oh no, it says we're live.
Oh good. Okay.
I'll have to mute it. Well, I can pause it and still get the. Yeah. Oh no! Hold on. I'm just gonna follow.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so hit the post that Rico and Gaz definitely listen to every show. That's true, I would say. And he says you are live on YouTube.
There you go. Yeah, the 12 people. Well, let's get back to the Justin stuff. No, well, not even really. But let's get back to the Justin stuff towards the end because like I can finish up on that and I could coast all day long. Everything about it has been since he came back. It's been bugging me. It's not like a good thing or a bad thing. It's just been like you said. I think I see my nephew in him. I think. Oh, never mind. I gotta get this out. So, what if this? What if this is the scenario? It's as simple as this. So let's not think of him as a 26-year-old. Let's just think of him as a child. And his parents go to the Wilbur show and they see all these antics and stuff. And sort of through his parents' eyes, they kind of feel like, oh, he's getting made fun of here. And they have some type of come to Jesus talk with him where it's like, part of this, I want to say right up front, I saw this in Reddit, but I had been thinking about it the whole time. And I think I've sort of tweaked whatever the thought process was, but I'll retweet that. I'll retweet the thing I saw on Reddit about it. But I think Justin was scared to tell the truth. And I think what the truth was that his parents told him that he needed to get a real job and to stop playing.
I don't think that perhaps, but what gives you that indication? Because he didn't say anything about his parents.
Let me finish the scenario for you, right?
Oh, this is that thing we were talking about.
That's
earlier.
Exactly. It is. So here's how it works.
You would say this to your therapist.
Oh man, I want to get back to that too.
Yeah, we can.
In his head, the conversation with his dad, no matter how it really went, or his parents went like this, you need to buckle down, you need to get serious, and you need to get a real job. The 5-minute pitch, the sell job that really Justin needed to do wasn't to Kirk or Dave or Barstool. It was to his parents. He needed to explain to his parents that this could be a career for him, that what he was doing is...
I see where your mind's thinking, but it's thinking about it like...
But it makes perfect sense.
You should write some of your thinking, like this sort of stuff down.
This is exactly what my therapist says all the time, like constantly. Yeah. That's what she's constantly about that. So anyways, though, but that's my thing is, so now he's scared, and all he really needed to do was explain that, like, this is a job, and I'm a 26-year-old loser, but this is a job, and like this is something that I could spin into something else. Trust me, and like so that's what I think happened. Where do you come down on it then?
Like I just think Justin doesn't know how to be confrontational with Kirk.
So do you think he just? I don't think he wanted to quit. I don't think he really wanted to quit. I mean, I think he was tired of getting.
No, I think he did.
Really, all along, and he was just scared.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because I think there's some stress to that. Like, if you think about it, figuring out what will make Kirk happy.
Yes,
and like having to piece together a full-time job would not feel very like easy for me.
I think he was trying. Right, fine. I understand that, but like he's already in the mix of it, and he already cost him $30,000. Like,
yeah,
how does? I would love to talk to him about it or find out about it, but I'm going to retweet that Reddit thing, and I'm probably jump into that comment section and just tweak my thought process on it.
No,
I swear to God, you know why I really what really made me think that it has something to do with his parents?
Oh, hit the post thinks or says he knows if he accepts a job, he'll be a professional punching bag.
And that's fair enough. Kirk didn't like him saying that today, but I mean, like, that's the case. And not only is that the case, but that's like literally the case for producers for talk radio, morning talk radio forever.
What's up, dude?
At least his face is skinny again.
Yeah. But dude, what? Yeah, you would have him wearing the bag if it wasn't.
Oh my God! Did you see that tweet, or did I tell you
that? That was a good one.
I wanted a prescription for a bag over his face until the swelling went down.
That's classic bio, dude.
Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you, like I said, the show stuff. I mean, I could not have picked a better week or better couple weeks to start to swing into this thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a wrap-up show just for yesterday's show. There was stuff to go over. The Alex Bennett stuff. That I'm just there's certain segments of the Miniverse that are killing me for being Team Cupcake.
Well, it's because they don't like you're a Kemp and they don't like that.
Yeah, Sam Kemp, whatever. But the simple
Kemp is a Kirk
a Kirk Sim.
Yeah, I'm a Kemp.
Oh yeah.
I don't like just disagreeing because everybody else agrees.
Well, my thing is this. She's a mean girl, right? I'm going to look into it some more. I want to get some tape of her and stuff like that. I was going to try and do that, but you know how life is and everything else. But the simple fact of the matter is she's not the one that went after that person that towed her car.
Yeah, she is. Yep, she is.
See, come on. Whether or not anybody wants to believe it, I have not liked that lady for a long time, a long time. So this is just perfect, perfect for me to.
I like her mom though. Her mom's really funny online. She's just like a mom, and they got hired as a twosome. So I thought that was pretty cute when it first came out.
That is cute.
Yeah. And then the mom's just sort of like traditional mom doing mom content.
Yeah, but that's her husband. So her husband is
her husband's dad owns the.
Oh, her husband's dad.
Oklahoma. Yeah. Her husband's the same age as her, so they're like 28. That'd be pretty cool if he did own the team.
You know what? I did want to.
At Kirkman, is this Clemmer situation bigger than Bruce? Okay. Alex, fuck you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, I mean,
banger.
What's that?
Like that's legit.
Yeah, no, yeah,
but hear me out. I think it's displaced because he really wants to be mad at this just came in. He sort of mad about it, but I don't think you'd be this mad if the Justin shit didn't happen.
I got a better one for the Clemmer stuff. I think, honest to God, because Clemmer's area of expertise is right inside of Kirk's wheelhouse for so many things. I think Clemmer was actually really becoming a friend to Kirk, and Kirk is hurt because he was becoming a friend, like a person that he would have pizza with.
Yeah, he's such an asshole.
I'm really down on him. I don't see how. I mean, like, obviously, I'll go with whatever Kirk does eventually. I convince myself.
His take is so true about the whole Chris Curtis thing.
I agree, but no.
Yeah, we're Kimps, dude. Just embrace it.
Right, that's exactly it. Well,
Kirk hasn't never really done anything wrong in like that I can think of. He's like Charlie Manson in ways that like he could get us to do
that. Somebody's gonna wind up clipping that for you. I'll tell you. So I think there's three huge things.
Three people listening.
Right, I know, right? I think there's three huge things.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm calling this right now tentatively. And this is for charity. I don't know the charity yet. I want to hear some thoughts. Maybe we'll take some calls. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the four of us can figure this out. Minifans across America.
I don't know. You're pumped about it. It's not really like in my wheelhouse. And
it's perfect.
I don't have I don't have anything. Like I can't use it as an excuse to go do it for a couple days. Like, that's not one. My wife would understand.
I mean, like I think I literally have been. I mean, I said it to a few people. I'm just waiting for like a half marathon or something to do. As far as for myself, like physically concerned, after 2 miles, like I can just sort of go forever. I just run out of time is the problem. So I'm excited to try and do it. I've never done more than whatever a 5K is though. So I'm going to have to try that at some point. I was thinking about that today too. But I mean,
could you do one of those ultra marathons?
I don't know. Like I said, I've never done more than.
You would develop the perfect though, like training plan. You'd research it, like you could figure out. Like if I start this day, I just have to do this many miles a day, and you'd stick to it. No, you got will
into it, but I got to see. I have to see how 15 miles goes. They're talking about like 5 mile legs, like getting a van. Does this still seem possible? Because it doesn't seem possible. I'm willing to do it though. I'll do it until like 2 or 3 Minifans should die anyways. Trying it just seems like
yeah. Well, I mean, I can see like Munchkin say I could do the Rockies, or like one of the guys that's not in shape.
Well, that's
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And sorry, Munchkin, I was using you as an example. You're not in shape, dude.
Well, one of the sections here is Nipples is my friend. Well, I say he's my friend, but like I love the guy, but hey, he's gonna have to walk a lot of those, I would assume. But
yeah,
like I just don't know how. I don't think that. I think that the time frame is what they're being unrealistic about.
I love John Stewart calling in and telling like that was perfect.
Yeah,
they needed to hear that because they would get all excited. They weren't thinking of that.
The guy called in today said the same thing. It's like we bike across Illinois and it takes hours.
Yeah,
or not hours, days. He said days. So, anyway,
I mean, I could see it taking like 3 months if they did it. They're gonna need like at least. It's 3,000 people because you need backup people.
3 months that's what I was thinking is like 3 months. And I think what it really should just turn into is sort of like a Minifan thing and a publicity thing. Like they should have people like calling all the little towns with like local radio stations.
Like sending in like a town crier.
I mean, that's kind of what.
Hey.
I like big picture wise the whole thing, whether it's Minifans across America or the car thing. I like sort of he's almost riffing or parodying on morning drive shows, and he does it in a way that is, I think.
Almost like they don't realize
it. It's almost satirical is what it's almost satirical. Like there's like a bend to it that's just like I said, like the car thing. There was nothing really to win. Nobody won anything. It was just sort of the goof on, the car, those type of morning show gag things. So
Hit the Post says So are people expected to run west down I-90? Like, have you looked at a map and tried to figure it out?
No, I have not. I looked at some of the stuff that people were tweeting, and again, I think I said to you a couple of days ago, I just don't know the Rocky Mountains and stuff. I guess maybe there's places, but
would Kirk let them ski across the Rocky Mountains, or snowboard, or cross country ski, or snowshoe?
I think it all should be open. Like whatever.
You've been to those Minifan events. Like, is there anybody that's in super shape?
No,
like,
that's the
like
thing.
That's like a Navy SEAL or something that can withstand, like, only like a few people in the world can withstand those conditions.
I was surprised. Like, I think there was about 20 or 30 people that showed up at the 5K. I was surprised at how quick almost everybody made it through, though. So, I mean,
Yeah, true. There are some people in shape, but
like,
I just think that's a different. That's like Bear Grylls shit.
I just don't like the logistics. Unless somebody's going to pay money, there's areas that you're just not going to get to.
I guess you could do it safely by, like, they walk 3 steps and they get into the, like, Tacoma truck they have or something.
I just love it because, like, I mean, never in my life would I have ever been able to think that, like, I absolutely can like pull this one off. But it just,
I know, that's awesome.
It is. It's exciting. So anyway, anything
I've always
else?
sort of been the same weight and the same sort of in shape.
Yeah, not here, man. Not here at all. In fact, I was just talking about that earlier today. But so, out of any other major things that happened this week, I'm going to look over my list here real quick before.
I want to talk about the Rico stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, then I
had a take on sneakers, and sort of I've heard it a few times, and a few people have said it. He is sort of like the Rico of the Minifans.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm not taking 100% credit for it, but I think that is a funny way of thinking about him, and it sort of softens
the edge that a lot of people probably have for sneakers.
Yeah,
he does come across. He's blunt. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he is very blunt.
Yeah. So that is.
Yeah. I think Rico Bosco is sort of weirdly. I think sneakers is definitely smarter and more intelligent than Rico. I think Rico's a little dumb.
I think it might be a New Jersey, Massachusetts kind of thing. Like I think I like the way that Sneakers does it. I don't like the way that Rico does it. I don't know. I don't really know exactly how else to explain that, other than just to say, like, it's funny. It's really funny.
Well, I think maybe there's a little bit of a difference too, where Rico's mentally ill. Sneakers might not be.
Oh, okay. Well, that works then. Like I said, I think that the Justin stuff is definitely number one. I cannot believe that the Minifans across America is probably number 3 or 4 of the things that happened this week.
Yeah.
I smile because I keep looking at this Justin value thing. It's like, what did he say he was going to do? What's he going to do now?
Justin, he doesn't have a plan, I don't think.
Was he going to school for something? Like
I don't know. I think you can get a job like with a college degree selling insurance or something.
Well, I mean, I'm right with. So here's the thing too, and I know you're younger, but I'm right with Kirk with this millennial stuff. Like, I have my nephew that. He's a little bit. Well, no, he's a millennial for sure, and just I hate to be really mean, but he's pretty useless. In fact, I'm trying right now to just.
Well, I think like what's different now is expectations are not as high for millennials because there's not as many opportunities for the expectations. Like there's more little jobs that paid well when, like, my dad or your generation was coming out. So when you graduated, like, you were 18, you sort of moved out. Where now kids stay in, like, my cousin is watching my son. She just graduated college. She doesn't have a job yet, but it's sort of not expected. She's looking.
Well, so
you sort of have to go to college, and then some kids stay home and work.
It's so difficult. It is really difficult for me to put myself in Justin's shoes, or really, because I always had a motor. My first job was picking blueberries for 25 cents a pint. I think I was 12, and I did
this lady I work with said she's been working since she was 13, so she's been working for 50 years.
Yeah, I feel really even around the house. I feel really. That's why I don't even have a chair. I just feel uncomfortable just sitting around doing nothing. I don't know. But speaking of sitting around doing nothing, we can
talk about later.
Exactly. Let's get to the book club.
Yeah.
Which is why we're here. Let's talk.
Chris from Methuen had the best name, BioBooks.
Yeah,
we didn't think about it.
I was telling Hit the Post. I think I'm going to go with BioBooks After Dark featuring Sig, and then the other thought that so what we should first do is tell the audience that we're already changing the rules, and I don't want it to be like Quantum Week or anything. So we're going to get it over with now, so we don't have to change the rules anymore afterwards.
We had a debate about this earlier in the week, and sort of I came across it in a different way because we set this rule, and then I had second thoughts about it. So I was like, okay, well, let's amend the rules, basically. So then that BioDo was okay with it as an amendment.
Well, there's a few things, and it's actually perfect because it leads right into the book club. And why we were going to start the book club was the first book that we were sort of talking about.
We wanted to hang out, and we needed somebody to hold us accountable to read.
Well, right, but I was talking more along the lines of the book the next book in our book club.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
It's a book that Kirk never read, and it doesn't really have much to do with Kirk. So that kind of.
Well, we're experts in it.
Right. Exactly.
We're going to be able to talk. We might have to start at 8 one night because we could talk for hours about it.
Absolutely. And the next book is called Neurotribe, I believe.
Neurotribe.
I know nothing about it other than it's about ADHD, and that's something that I was.
It's really about autism, and then ADHD gets put in under neurodivergency. So it's basically history of autism and the advocacy for it, as well as other neurodivergencies. And it's a brilliant book.
It's near and dear to both of our hearts because I was just recently diagnosed with ADHD, and there's currently an argument on whether or not I have autism.
Yeah, right.
Whatever the case may be, I'm happy with where I'm at. But this book sounds really interesting, and the only way to get to it is to change the rules a little bit. And so it's just it's essentially just books that we want to read and talk about, and then we'll talk about Kirk and figure out a way to make it part of what he has. But most of the time, it's going to be something about Kirk. I'll tell you why I jumped all over.
Because we're always going to do a wrap up.
Right. There's always going to be, there'll always be aspects of it, of whatever we're reading, which is what I'm going to get into with the books. With the book that we're doing tonight.
Oh yeah, there was another book he mentioned during this show. When he was talking to Bennett, they were talking about a movie Scorsese was doing, The Flower Killing Moon. Yeah. It was a book about. So there were these Indians or Native Americans that got pushed around. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, got pushed around, and they ended up where they put them was this oil refineries. And so they were like the rich Native Americans in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
All these murders started happening, and it's about the investigation behind the murders.
Did he say he had read it, or he just knows it's
I think he said it in the past he's read it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing is, and it's not going to be one thing or another. This next book, I guess, it's not like a novel or anything. Actually, the book that we're doing now, Criminal Minds, is autobiography. Would you call it an autobiography?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. So, and it's the autobiography of John Douglas. He's the way I've been explaining to anybody that is interested is that he's kind of the father of criminal behavior medicine profiling. Profiling is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I think that's the term most people can relate with.
Yeah, and everything he did is either like what the Criminal Minds show or the
he's like, I think literally like executive producer credits on that show.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he's
just like a remarkable brain, just sort of very, just so intelligent, and maybe not just like pure intelligence, also like instinctual intelligence. That it's not like nobody's born with, like, you're born with that.
And I go back and forth. He's an excellent storyteller. And so sometimes I go back and forth where I feel like he's kind of blowing smoke up your ass, but it doesn't even really matter. Like the further and further you get into the book and the shit that like he's had to see and the way he puts himself in people's shoes. I want to get to that, but I haven't really.
I'm sure he was paid well, but I don't think when this first started out, when he almost collapsed, like at the beginning of the book, that he was getting paid very, like, the money that he could make as like a consultant and shit.
Well, he essentially stopped one of these serial killers. I think it was one that was killing kids. It was right at the end. So it was like right at the end of what I'm reading, chapter 12, 13, 14. But
are you talking about the Atlanta child murders? Or
I think it might be the Atlanta. Is it the Atlanta the one that he got in trouble for too? Oh yeah, it is. Yes. So he says at the end of that one that like he got an award for that one, and it was $250. And even in like 1980, that's not a lot of money.
No, because it basically like he should be making like millions of dollars being able to do this work.
The other funny thing is that where I am sort of in the timeline, he's got a few PhDs working under him now. He's got like psychologists, all kinds of people. And this guy is like, he joined the Air Force.
He's got his master's in psychology.
Well, yeah, he did eventually. And I wanted to get back to that. I love how he really ripped a couple times. He gave therapy and therapists a real hard time. I thought that was really cute or funny or whatever,
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard, like the way he uses his clinical brain and sort of the way human behavior is, he sort of has to be manipulative too, where like I don't have a manipulative bone in my body, so I wouldn't be able to sort of think like a police officer and use their flaws against them. That's like totally against all the bane in my body.
I'm still trying to sort of conceptualize like this thought that I have about
that. Robbie V. Robbie V's in the chat.
Oh, the weatherman, right?
Yeah. He also, I think, hosts Stokes.
You know what? I'm going to start watching all of those.
He's the lead up to us.
Exactly. I'm going to start watching all of those shows. And Chris and Methuen is always talking about stonks. And I wish I had money to invest in it, but
sorry, Robbie V distracted us, but Robbie V's a good guy. He's worth a distraction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything.
He does really good recap Patriot videos at the end of big games or big sporting events. That's like weather, and I think that and Stokes and being a good dad are his specialty.
I was gonna at some point, when I actually get to talk to him, I was gonna ask him if he was the Minifan weather guy. Was he that guy for a while or whatever? Yeah, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I know he does top-notch weather reports.
There was a Minifan literal.
Oh yeah.
It would, and
I remember that.
Oh shit, I liked him. But anyways, you
weather fascinates me. It's a little bit like I could talk about weather.
Anyways, I'm so from where we were last time, as far as in the book goes, you run right into the serial killer pairs, like the teams.
Yeah.
I don't know which is more disturbing. So everything up into the serial killer pairs is like bad, and it's not great, but it's pretty much standard stuff right out of most of your horror movies or like Silence of the Lamb or whatever. there's just something different, both about like the kids killing the kids, but the teams, like finding somebody else that is okay with that behavior. And
then they had like the one guy where like each one would specify they didn't do what the other guy was into. Like they wanted them to be clear, both of them.
So that's
like made them sick to think that they would do that other thing.
Let me see if I can split the screen here, because I do have some pictures of these guys, and I did want to talk about them a little bit, but I'm still learning all this stuff. Oh, there we go. I was already sharing it.
Sure. My wife gave you a compliment. She said you're a very organized person, but it's like you have a lot of things organized, but you like everything's useful to you.
All of that is absolutely correct. The only thing is that I have so many different things organized that it's almost impossible to get finished. It's terrible. Yeah. But I'm not team
because you're too busy doing organizing.
Exactly.
The organizing distracts you from the project.
My thing, and that's why I'm really, really trying to just give this stuff a few hours. Like,
so what do you think of Kirk's brother? Do you think he's like what Colonnade says, a 10?
I do think he's pretty good looking, actually.
Yeah,
I was going to mention that too.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but I was surprised.
He's definitely a bro.
Oh yeah. I saw him kiss his brother at the vigil. I was at the vigil.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways,
you're what Kirk would call like a real fan. I've never been to a live event, so I would be a subpar fan.
Well, you also live far away, so
Yeah, I know. I'll every couple of weeks I'll send the show account, the Academy of Music in Northampton's information regarding like him doing a show here. I would love it if you could do one at the Big E too. That'd be cool.
Well, so did they ever say where they were talking about places to?
Yeah, it seems like more. I'm not north of here.
Nobody ever does anything on the South Shore, which is fine. It's not really great down here anyways, but
you consider yourself the South Shore and not the Cape?
It depends on who I'm really talking to. Like,
yeah.
I'm right on that edge. I mean, like literally you can see the bridge from the end of my street.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's the train bridge. But anyways, getting back to the book.
It's a cool bridge.
I love the train one. Oh yeah. Well, that's you go on it for the Polar Express.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
My wife loved it too. She really loved it. It's beautiful and it's fun. It's fun.
Have I asked how old is your wife, if you don't mind me asking?
She is same age, 44.
Oh, 44. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, the book, getting back to those people, I was trying to find the pictures of those guys. But anyways, the first two that he talks about is just that, the ones that you were talking about. They have different tastes. They met in jail. So this makes okay sense to me. They have different tastes. They met in jail and they just talked about what they did, what they like to do.
Yeah, but the ages is the age was where they sort of met in the middle and were like, okay, you do this first, then I can do my crazy shit. Oh, perfect. We're both pretty good able-bodied guys. This makes perfect sense. We both have weird brains. Let's work together.
Yeah. To pick up like hookers and like.
Well, how many people will you connect on the level where they'd understand that sort of distaste for women?
Well, I guess the more you read that book, the more you It sort of seems like it's not that hard.
It starts with how you're raised.
It really does.
Like I think it's changed. The sort of thought that women, dads can have a big impact too.
Oh my God. Well, that's been my thing forever. Is like that's the real problem.
If you don't have either, you're really fucked.
I don't know how any of these kids like turn out even halfway normal. It's tough when you have your head on straight just to make it through.
Right.
And then the dad doesn't show up like my nephew or
yeah,
hundreds of other kids. There's no dad around.
Your nephew, like if you were thinking about it and God came down, I do this from time to time. Don't you think God would say your nephew deserves to go to heaven? Isn't he a nice guy?
No, see, that's the thing is, so as far as like I think that that's sort of a Catholic kind of way of believing things. Like the religion that I come from, whether I really believe this or not, is at least up for discussion, but is like the whole point of religion is to give in and just believe in him and not worry about it. It's a struggle that I am not. I mean, I'm equipped to deal with the struggle. I'm not equipped to just put blind faith into nothing. But I will tell you this. You know what I will absolutely say? If you just try and do the right thing,
right,
then it works out. And I believe that's God. I believe that that's God. Whatever.
Yeah, like I don't really know what I believe, but like if God would have came down and was like, "All right, I'm choosing the people," like the Bible says He's gonna do, I would think He would say, "Oh, so Steve, you're a therapist. Oops, you're a therapist. You are a really good dad and a good husband, but you doubt me a little bit." I think He would say, "You're going to heaven."
I don't. I mean, like we're talking only listen, this is purely for discussion and only in the sense of when we're speaking of my fundamental beliefs that the box that I was raised in.
Yeah, I know. I want to hear that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. Like it is from in the church that I go to, like they preach it every Sunday. And I think it's a good thing. And like I said, I believe that the struggle is sort of where you find some growth. Like wondering is not a sin. Wondering whether or not there was God or Jesus. Really, the Jesus is the stuff that is where I struggle with. But my religion in that church that I go to and every other.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the after dark portion of the show.
Well, that's my point. I love the idea, just timing wise, and then I love to roll into Thursday, be able to sort of recap everything, really, and then be able to do it again, probably Saturday. I think it's going to work.
You have a lot of different thoughts up in your head, so I'm sure you want a lot of material.
I do, and nobody to talk to about it, really.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect.
Like,
the perfect outlet for you.
So
going back to the book, so the pair killers.
So I wonder, and I'm just sort of like, does the pair killing thing grab you any different than everything else? It's never set well with me. I understand what you're saying about making that connection, but then
it doesn't necessarily interest me as much because the serial killers that fascinate me the most are the ones that got away with it for a long time, where they kill multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes on. Like B2TK is probably one of the craziest and weirdest sort of serial killer because of how he was able to like cool off for so long.
Well, not only that, but I mean, speaking of religion too, I think he was like a cleric for for his local church and stuff. I just don't understand. I don't think that I understand how people can just be two different people like that. That's
what I don't understand too.
Yeah.
But these guys, right?
But
they're sort of more. Once they do it, they don't have the willpower, I guess you would say, BTK had to just shut it off. Once that tap is hit, they're gonna just do it and be sloppy about it. They're disorganized,
So the couple things that come across as you're reading the book is that there's a personality, like, and once these guys do it, it's on. Like they've really been, whether they've been really thinking about it or not, they've been thinking about it a long time. And then once they do it, they really do it. And then I think in the same vein of that is just that they can tell themselves, they almost instantly they start remembering the story in a way that it really wasn't their fault, and almost to almost to a person they do that, and it's like that. Oh boy, that I don't like that. I don't like that that personality trait where you can sort of, and I think it's something that we all do. Like we all misremember.
Does Donald Trump have that personality trait?
I think what Donald Trump has is if he sees like it's something almost like Kirk, if he sees something that he knows is going to get a rise, he can't not try to get the rise. I think that Trump can't help himself. I think Kirk has the ability to select it and to turn it on and off. I really don't think that Trump can. I think that like, if
he has ADHD, I think.
I think so too. I mean, like I understand him better.
There's reports that say he's prescribed Adderall.
Who's that? What's that?
There's reports that
he is
prescribed Adderall.
Well, he's got the same sleep schedule as me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he doesn't touch like he has no vices really.
Right. Yeah. Another thing in common. So, anyways, I think one more book club.
I'll say this though. You're more of a hands-on dad than he was, I would say.
I don't know, man. His kids turned out pretty great. Now, granted, I think it was the moms, but he made good choices with
Baron. You think him and Baron hang out a lot?
No, not at all. That's what I said. I said I stopped myself right afterwards. I said it is the moms.
Yeah. Or it's the nanny and the au pair and the teachers and the headmaster at the boarding schools.
Whatever, though, I will say that
rich culture
turned out better than Biden's kids.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's an argument to be had, though, that Bay was a pretty good guy.
Oh, the other one?
Yeah, the one that died of brain cancer and had
why is it
like a army veteran?
Why is it always that way? Why is it the good one? That you want to talk about religion? You want to talk about something that drives me nuts, and I have to get down to the bottom of it someday. Is the prodigal son story? I can't figure that one out for the life of me. I've listened to 900 different sermons.
Dude, I told you, dude. Whoever wrote that story was a good writer, because that story, like, can't be true.
Well, there's just millions of different levels, but like different reads from it. But I've never heard anything about the son.
But like Jonah and the whale is logical to you, and like Moses with the burning bush.
I've reasoned every one of them. Out. I don't know that I believe any of them actually happened, but I've built the.
What about the ark?
What's that? Yeah. I built all the scenarios in my head. I mean, like I was a pragmatic.
How much how much wood would they need to build the ark? And like, did they know how to mill? Do you go through like those scenarios?
Yeah, yes, pretty much yes. Like I'm not crunching numbers, and I didn't have catalogs, but like I did the research enough to know that like
I love that about the way your brain works.
Enough to know that it's just barely.
What I mean is, it's like so unique. Like, it's fascinating and it's cool.
I see, and I didn't know. I was really like all of that stuff in and of itself is an interesting story. Like how I even started talking. Like the social media.
How old were you when you talked? Like 4?
Oh, I don't know about that talking. I just mean like being myself. In and of itself was a difficult task.
Yeah.
I don't know, it took me into my 40s to be comfortable. So
yeah,
who knows? So the twin serial killers, I think we beat that up. Although there's a lot of really interesting stuff about it.
The ones that like also the women serial killers interest me. There's not many, but it's usually they're nurses and they're killing their patients.
Yeah.
And so that's like weird in its of itself. Like,
but at least. I mean, I think that they're telling themselves that they're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a scenario that's easy enough to understand at least. But but then he goes into the kids, and I was telling you this morning, like, I read it all, and I don't know, the kid stuff did bother me, like, the Atlanta story. He talks about there's a big Atlanta story in the 80s. You know, they don't know exactly how many.
He was like really praising his friend in that story about the guy that like what the FBI agent whose wife put a hit on him.
That's right where I finished up. That's like that's sort of the last story I had. Yeah. It's clear he really likes that guy. And that's a tough one.
It was a cool story. Like the way he told it and it was written, I like.
It was amazing.
I don't usually like nonfiction either.
I told the story almost like within 2 hours after reading it. And I can tell you that I've seen it in at least 2 or 3 different movies, like, or TV shows. Like there's a Law and Order episode that's sort of based around what that guy happened. And so let's tell the audience what happened, which is his, you know, like Sig said, his wife tried to kill him. But the funny thing, or the interesting thing, and the thing that keeps you wrapped in this story is like the killers really wanted to kill him and they were trying to do a good job. And like, he just kept his free hand was always open on his gun and they just could not for the life of them.
Oh yeah. No, it was funny when he said, he talked about how cars didn't have cup holders back then.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. That was the only reason they kept him alive was that he didn't have, so
he couldn't handle getting out of his routine.
So just to let anybody that isn't going to read it, but still would like to finish up the story. The wife goes crazy trying to kill the guy, but the whole time she's being nicer and nicer and nicer to him, which he's an FBI agent and it doesn't even dawn on him that something's going on. But she winds up making him coffee and getting him a special mug so that he'll hold it in the hand so that they can shoot him.
Yeah, because he was always able to reach for his gun, and the killers were like, "Fuck that."
So
when I was listening to it, I was thinking about why didn't she just like break his hand or something?
Oh,
that's what I think she was going to do next. She was just going to break his hand to like ink him back. Yeah,
just hide his gun, like you know. But who knows? You got to feel bad for that guy, and he says that like he did not deal with that well afterwards for a long time. But the gentleman, and I'm sorry the name eludes me, but he wound up, you know, he wound up being a behavioral analyst for the FBI with the FBI, and he winds up because she drugged him, he passes out, and she goes away with the kids and lets the assassins in, and they try to kill him. I can't remember what happened. They shot him up like a bunch of times or something, but he didn't die, and he called 911, and the tapes, I guess, are pretty interesting, and they have them. So,
do you have them?
I did not see that. So that's the thing about not having enough time to really produce anything. Like there's all that Alex Bennett stuff, and you know what? We can kind of finish up there. I think we'll be done with the book by the next time we get together.
Well, I did want to say something about the Atlanta child killers.
Oh, good.
I thought it was interesting how the killer took the stand.
Yeah.
And he called it that, like, he wasn't sure if he would. And then, like, he basically gave him the play-by-play on how to break him.
It's, to me...
Do you think he was blowing smoke up her ass with that?
Well, that's what I was about to say is, again, that's exactly what I meant when I said it earlier. At this point, after all the stuff that he's done, and he wrote the book, and all these people that are in the book like are the full first name, last name. I mean, I think this is the guy that all of this. The reason why it feels too movie-ish is because they made the movies about him. Like, this is the guy they made the movies about. Like,
yeah.
So I don't think he's blowing as much smoke up the reader's ass as it feels like at times because of how old the book is. Like, the book was written in 96, and he's talking about the first 30 years of his life, you know? So, you know, really, I bet you he's the fundamental background for a ton of different movie characters that have sort of passed in.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting the credit for it either, or the money.
Not enough, right, exactly. That's how I feel, without a doubt.
Yeah, like, basically you can trace back that he invented all the techniques that they created like like the killer from, like any great detective, like Seven.
Here's a perfect example. Here's even a better example, not just in the movies and stuff, where this guy has his fingerprints just all over it. Like he was integral in getting a search warrant for, I believe it is that Atlanta house, but maybe it was something after that down in Atlanta. But before this one case, judges in our judicial system had never accepted whatever he's calling it. It's not modus operandi. It's this personal signature thing, which is essentially the behavior analyst. And, he goes through sort of right towards the end of where I'm at, the story of how, I know what it was. It was the Alaska. That's where it was. Did you get to that yet?
No. I know about this case though. This guy
right. Case. Again, it's based. I mean, like there's movies about it. Essentially, I mean, like long story short, as far as I could tell, or what I read, he eventually just starts picking up hookers like down,
flying them
into the middle of Alaska, sort of just.
That's the perfect hunting ground.
And hunting them like the prey, and he was called, John Douglas was called up there once they knew they figured out they had the guy, or maybe they didn't have the guy, but he put together a profile and explained exactly to the judge and explained exactly where the police needed to look. Or where the police were going to find the guns. And, it was big enough. It was kind of like, it was sort of almost like a magic trick, but it worked. And it started something that now is just like commonplace in our judicial system. Again, like I said, the guy is amazing. I don't think that I'm going to have a lot more to talk about him, although I got another 2 or 3 hours left of reading. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm like 5 hours. Yeah, we know because we consider listening to books reading too.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. In fact, that's the other thing. So there's a couple things about the book club. Kind of want to throw them out there.
Yeah.
To you, but the two things is, one is I love that the reason I jumped all over changing the plan is because I have Minifans already in my mind that I want to have as guests.
Yeah.
And I just want to find the right books for them.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that hopefully.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I never thought of that.
Yeah, hopefully will come if people do get interested in this. If they don't, then it doesn't matter. I'm still going to keep reading the books.
Jon Stewart would be fun to do one with.
What's that?
Jon Stewart would be fun to do one with.
Exactly. The first, absolutely the first person that came to mind after like me and you sort of talking about it and stuff was Pat from Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's just kind of odd enough, and he's all technical. Yeah.
We could do I would love to read a 60s counterculture book.
I asked him if he wanted to read something techie, but I'm gonna go now that we're sort of tweaking the rules and stuff. I think I'm gonna just go back to him and ask him if there's something in particular that he thinks that thinks that Kirk would like, or that he's read.
Because I would love to do like a record book or something, some kind of figure out. Yeah, there's a lot of good biographies.
And my thing is this: if I get,
No, it would be fun. That would piss a lot of people off if we did a Jay one with one of his medical books he's always talking about.
No, listen. Maybe, but first off, I'm not the one that wants to piss people off. That's the show tomorrow night or the other night. I might. And two, I love Jay, but I have so much drama in my life, and right now, that's all Jay is drama.
Yeah.
I'm good for now.
Yeah. He's got too much heat.
They're still yapping about him. I don't know. John from Scranton had a show on his channel tonight. I didn't see what it was, but I saw it went live. I was just trying to. Absolutely, me too. I'm just saying, like, that it's still going on, like, whatever it is. So, and what else did I have? Oh, you know what else I thought was interesting? After John Douglas from the book, after he gets in trouble for saying something sort of to a reporter about the Atlanta case, they call him in to sort of the internal affairs, and the first thing they make him do is sign a release for his rights. Like, it's kind of what we were talking about a couple days ago, as far as
like the Hoover stuff.
Well, what I was talking about is you're in a healthcare industry, but if you go and get health care, you can't do your job. Well,
right.
It was very much the same thing here, where it's like, you're the FBI, like, well.
But didn't they? And the funny thing is, like, the Bureau absolutely okayed the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, first off, we're getting it from him. So
yeah, I know.
Take it with a grain of salt. But the way he describes it, essentially,
it seems like people don't like him in the FBI. To be honest with you, the way people, I think he ruffles a lot of feathers.
He definitely did early on. I can't really, honestly, he's obviously, like, on the conservative side of the spectrum, politically speaking, but he kind of comes down right in the middle. Like, it's hard to really get a feel for anything. Well,
yeah, but it's like, he's right so many times. Why would you like want to bench your best player?
Yeah.
For saying something stupid, like,
and then sort of the way he describes towards the end that he gets a commendation for it. It sounds like it was all just sort of
piss and vinegar.
Like, I was gonna say, like, paperwork, like political, like, just stuff that they have.
I know to do. We okayed it, but the president's pissed, so we have to have a fall guy. We'll let you be the fall guy.
Yeah, well, it was a bad case too, and like with the racial overtones and everything else. So, I don't know. Tell me about the Neurotribe book. Let's try and get some people interested in it. Not that anybody.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. Well, it's basically like this guy. He's a really good writer. He actually was like a prodigy of Allen Ginsberg, and towards the end of his life, they had like a friendship. And he's just a really good writer. He writes sort of like lengthy pieces on special interests. So he was doing an article on Silicon Valley type coders, because they do this instead of conferences. They went on a cruise to Alaska, and so he was interviewing them, and they're all eccentric.
Yeah.
And so like they're very interesting people. They're like brilliant and sort of just unique people. So he was interviewing like.
Now, why did he go on the cruise with them?
Because he wanted access to a lot of different
and so like it was like
they invited him on.
Oh, okay. So he was okay.
Yeah. So he went on because he was fascinated with the way they sort of are, like how they like, and they would have these huge sort of like parties, but also like talk about all their accomplishments and stuff. And so he wanted to interview one that created like Annie, I think the name of the it's like basically what runs Amazon. So, and he wanted to interview them, and they said you can, but we have a daughter that's autistic, and sort of gave him that warning. So then he like was looking it up, and he admits that the only autistic person he's known in the past is the guy from Rain Man. So he started to do the research and found out like Silicon Valley and part of Boston where there's a lot of coding, and like on Route 158, I think maybe. There's like so much more autistic needs.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like the schools are noticing an uptick in children with autism or physical therapy needs and everything.
Yeah.
And it's all sort of it all happens to be sort of surrounded around that area.
Like he said in California, 30% of like the need for services came from Silicon Valley, and California is fucking huge.
Well, but see, and we talked a little bit about this when we were talking about the book, but this is just sort of a question. It's not really an accusation of any type, but how much of it is just we're just catching it more? We're paying more attention. Like,
that's what he talks about. Yeah. It's that, like, for 1,000 years, there's been people neurodivergent. We're just sort of like recognizing it, and people aren't afraid to admit it now. That's like the big thing. We're normalizing it.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I hear that all the time in my head, the normalizing thing. But it's
today. So, for example, today I talked with a kid, and the kid admitted. So last time we talked about, like, going to your job, your boss, his first job, and tell them that you're autistic and that you might need a break here and there, because he was, like, afraid because he would get overwhelmed. So then, like, he was like, okay, I'll try and see what happens. So then today when we met and we talked about it, he was all excited because he did it, and it's like a big relief, and now he can take breaks without feeling guilty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about the not feeling guilty part, but it's so important to be able to just sort of talk about it. It really is.
Yeah. But he was so happy because he was so afraid that she would judge him.
Yeah. That's exactly.
She was like, "Oh, that's cool," like. And it's such a powerful thing for him at his age to experience.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's kind of it's easy for me to explain it away. Like, when I was a kid, like, there wasn't really any understanding of it at all. Yeah. And, like, I mean, like, there was a resource room, and, like, it did not matter whether you got in trouble for smoking or you just were really odd. You just wound up in the resource room. It didn't matter. Yeah. So, and that was it. So, but the younger kids, like my son, we knew he had ADHD early on. So I just wonder.
Well, it's also, like, I think the parents in their education of it.
Right.
Well, and they're doing a better job at the pediatrician level with pamphlets and everything. And pediatricians actually are recognizing it better too. Because they're these younger people now. My doctor, who when I was a kid started seeing my son, just retired.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm starting to worry about my daughter. She's super, super, super smart. But, like, sensory issues. She really likes me to, like, squeeze her, like, and then this, like, the emotional side, like, being able to control her temper.
You should get her.
We're getting a full psych neuropsych.
Neuropsych. Oh, how did you how long did it take to get it?
I guess maybe because getting my sons took a while, but I just had her like 4-year eval, and I just said we just want the same thing that we have for my son, because
did you guys have early intervention?
We had it with him. She had a little bit, but like I said, she was really, really smart. This stuff is coming out now, and it's like, it's real emotional stuff. It's not like delayed learning or anything like that. It's like not being able to regulate.
There's different sides of the spectrum,
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah, I know.
And hers are, There's some, well, we can talk offline, but there's some really good resources in, like, I know the Kennedys created this, like, amazing Senator Laurie Center.
Yeah. So one of the sisters was definitely very special.
Yeah, the lobotomy.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They did it to her because she had bipolar, which is like, fuck.
Was it bipolar? I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. That's what I've read.
Or something, but it's
no, it was bipolar, and she had think about this, like, with someone with Down syndrome, maybe it's a little embarrassing, but someone with bipolar and that sort of family and the way
back then,
it's like an outburst is not good, and these people are promising cures and shit.
Yeah. I understand why they would turn to a lobotomy, though, for people with bipolar disorders. I can see why you'd be that desperate.
Yeah, at the start, and then after you tried it a couple times, you realize it doesn't do anything. You should stop.
What's going on? Anything? You got any plans for the weekend?
Well, so we're going away next weekend. So this weekend, we got to button up the hatches a little and like clean the car out, get ready to travel.
I bought a washer and dryer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think they won't be delivered till next week. But
how many hours of market research did you do?
I did none because I didn't want to buy it. I was going to fix ours, but it's a 50-50 kind of thing. Yeah. She's the one who does all the laundry, so
yeah. 1950s bio, dude.
Lisbeth, please, dude. Oh my god.
I know, I forgot what I just said.
I know, right? Oh god, too funny. Yeah, right.
Have you started that show?
Which one?
Mindhunter.
No,
like based on the.
You know what I do? I have about 15-20 minutes. I'm making another keyboard. I made a new one.
Oh, okay.
So I love this one here. It's got
that's cool. Nice. What's it control?
It can control anything. At the moment, it doesn't control anything. I literally just got it working this evening. In fact, I want to figure out what to control with the encoder. The reason why I built it was for editing like videos for YouTube and stuff. Like the encoder, you can spin through video fast and get to places better with a little wheel. So,
nice.
It was like $12 on Amazon, and like I've been doing these keyboards almost compulsively.
How much money do you budget yourself for the 3D printer?
Oh, it's nothing. Like the $20, $20 for the filaments and stuff. And I guess what I would say is this: like the little electronic boards and stuff I buy them from Alibaba, which is like
Chinese.
Amazon, exactly. You have to wait forever, but they're like $12 for 20 of them. Okay. So that's why I do it. Really, it's like the cheapest hobby I could do. Even this podcasting thing or whatever it is, the YouTubing thing was more expensive than my 3D printing hobby.
How much did you put into the YouTubing thing?
Really, honestly, it was an old computer, and then like I said, I went with Linux because all of the software is free and it's all like fast and cutting edge. This was
free for you or free because you're using Linux?
The Linux stuff is free because I'm using Linux stuff. It's all like open source.
Nice.
And the what was the other thing I was going to say? Well, anyways, $200-$300. That's about it. Like,
that's not bad.
No,
You go through hobbies like I have like hobbies that I don't do anymore. But then 1 year I might pick it up for another like year.
That's exactly what I do.
Fishing, record collecting.
Woodworking. I did woodworking for like 2 years, and then I had to like do away with the whole shop because I turned it into my nephew's bedroom. But I didn't do it for him. It was transitioning into a new hobby kind of thing. Exactly. The ones I go back to are computer programming and curating like music videos and stuff like that. I don't even play video games. I just sort of download them.
In your Fallout shelter, you just have like this terabyte of RAM of every book and music.
That's exactly
you have it. Like they have the like seed bank.
Yes, that's exactly my intent too. That is exactly it. Yes,
you're a righteous man.
I haven't mentioned this guy's name, but Zonkers turned me on to that TV show called Foundation, and it's kind of along that principle. Not so much my little like libertarian everything, nothing can be edited thing, but more just the bigger principle of preserving everything for mankind. It's a good story. The most interesting thing about it was the rulers. So it's these three guys, right? And it's a civilization way off in the future, whatever. It's all science, sci-fi stuff. But it was the same guy. They decided to clone him, and they just keep cloning him. And there's 3 versions of him. So he's like he's like a young kid. Anyways, I just thought it was an interesting concept. But I want to let you go. I appreciate your time, and it's getting kind of late.
I know. When we got to do a marathon one though.
Oh, it's something again. It has to be like one of those times when my wife is off to Buffalo or something, and we could absolutely do it though, because like I said, we always seem to have stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Like even like we probably went an extra 20 minutes just riffing.
Well, right, and the really our problem is more that sometimes
we do it so late.
Well, I was just gonna say we will riff in areas like you need to stay on track a little bit too much, like going in and out of the book stuff is what I'm saying. But although I am looking at the new one, I'm excited about this other one. That's part of why I was sort of barreling through Criminal Minds now, is because now you got me excited.
This one, I think, like Criminal Mind, like this one, I think I'm gonna be jazzed and just keep doing it. Because I think this one you sort of had to I had to do at least an hour, because it's not like a book you can just, he's raping this person. Okay, this is a good part for me to end. You sort of have to get to like a stopping point.
Like I said, I think I'll finish Criminal Minds. I'll finish it this weekend, but maybe tomorrow. And I'm just gonna pick up the other one. I'll start the outline again the same way I did. Do you find the outline useful? I mean, I'm gonna keep doing it, but I just
I think it's useful because it keeps us on track.
Right, exactly.
To a degree. And I think like once we start, I know what we have to work on is our webbed thinking, because like something will get brought up and make me think of something that doesn't have to do with it, but there is a connection to it.
Well, that's it. Yes, exactly. And then the other thing is, oh God, you lose your train of thought trying to get to the connection, and then you look like an idiot. That happens all the time too.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried because I think it says we have 2 viewers and one's me.
Yeah, I'm not too worried either. But like I said, I like getting the reps. I do. Yeah. I think part of me has listened to talk radio my whole life, and I always wanted to call in, and this is sort of that.
Yeah. Well, it's like everything we're talking about are things that like we love.
Right, which makes it fun and makes it easy.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go. I got to go.
Okay. Bye.